Hey, how's it going, Cesar? My friend, Cesar Pineda. Thank you so much for being on the show. How you doing, man?
Hey, Dan, thank you for having me. I'm great. Happy to be here. It's an honor. I've been watching your show for a few years now, so this is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, this is really cool for me too because not only are we going to get to talk insurance, but we're also going to talk about the skill that you have, which is content creation, which is something I really enjoy talking about too. But yeah, first and foremost, you're an insurance agent. We're
Yep.
fellow agents, and yeah, tell me a little bit about your story and how'd you guys start in the insurance business?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in insurance since 2012. I actually used to work at a hotel, and my dad had an insurance agency, a State Farm insurance agency in the area, and they just asked him, like, "Do you know anybody? Right? Do you know anybody who is looking for work?" And my dad obviously threw my name out there. I think that the hotel industry, the hospitality industry, is great for me to learn a lot of the customer service and the way to talk to people and the way to diffuse certain situations and things like that, which I can definitely have translated to insurance. One of the things that I've learned to love about insurance is that like there's so many different ways to do it, right? You could be a hands-on kind of person, or you could be like get employees and let them handle the whole thing. But for me, like customer service is everything, right? So I came from hospitality, started in insurance the day after Hurricane Sandy, which up here, I'm in the Northeast, I'm in Connecticut, very close to New York and New Jersey. So, Hurricane Sandy for us is pretty big. And it was pretty crazy because my first day on the job, it was like claim, 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 claim. But it taught me from the very beginning, like that this is that what we're selling is not just a make believe product. It's like people don't ever hope to use it, but when they have to use it, they better have the right coverage. They better have the right, the right policy, the right company that's going to stay solvent. And so, and it just taught me a lot from the very beginning. I was, lucky and unlucky in certain ways. I was unlucky that, like, again, my first day was a big day for insurance. A few weeks into the job, they fire everybody else. I'm the only employee. I'm still kind of like learning the craft, right? I'm not even licensed at this point. And then I had to self teach. It was a lot of just find the right information or find the right person and get the information. And then just, self-taught a lot of information about insurance, but like really wanted to learn it. Like I didn't want to feel like it is what it is. I had problems with a few people because they're like, just tell them the bill is what it is because that's what it is. And I'm like, no, but like, tell me why. Like, I want to be able to relate to this person enough that when I explain it to them, it makes sense to them. It's not just, repeating what somebody else said. So again, insurance for me very much a customer service job, and then I treated people at the hotel, always putting myself in the person's shoes, and I think that helped me over time. I started kind of bumpy with the firing everybody else, but eventually started hiring people, and I started being more of a manager, and I started like training and doing all these things. I was there for about 3 years, and then one of the people that I actually I trained and I onboarded actually told me he's opening his own farmers agency, right? And this is 2015. Farmers is brand new to the East Coast. I'm not sure if many people know. They started in the East Coast in Connecticut in 2015. And so he was opening his own agency. Is a guy that I really enjoyed working with. Not necessarily somebody that I'm like, oh my God, he's like, you know, my boss or something like that, but like he was nice to work with, right? So I at that point decided to go with him. I had other opportunities where maybe they paid more money, but then I in my mind I wanted to see what it was like to open from scratch because he was about to open a scratch agency, and then basically we killed it, man. Like we were so good in 2015 in Connecticut, partly because farmers kind of messed up the rating and they were just too cheap. And so it didn't matter who you had, beat them by a lot of money. So totally destroyed it first few years. But you know how it is. Like farmers immediately realized that maybe the rates are too cheap. Let's bump them up and bump them up and bump them up, and then so on and so on. So it kind of it was a blessing, but then it was a double-edged sword at the same time because people got upset real quick, right? But yeah, basically, I was with him for about 3 years, and then I had the opportunity, right? Because I was in contact. I was basically acting like a co-owner. I was doing all the marketing for his agency, partly how I got into my own thing. I was doing some of the networking. I was doing some of the management for the agency, and so again, I got the opportunity to open my own, and I jumped on it. I was 28 at the time, so for me, this is like something I thought I would do in my 40s or something like that, and then I had the opportunity, so I immediately took it. And so, yeah, basically, I started my agency here in Connecticut in 2018. I was very lucky to, again, just go in from day one, knowing exactly do what to market, what product was my forte, product, maybe don't waste your time on. We're still here. My agency has grown a lot over these years. I wish I could tell you that I'm like killing like some of you guys in California where or are, I don't know anymore. But we're doing pretty good, and so I'm very grateful. I'm here and that and I'm surrounded by really great agents here in the state and in the. So I was very happy to be part of this agency and to be part of this company.
Yeah. Ah, that's a great story there. I'm sure your
Thank you.
dad being in the business probably helped you out a lot. So
My dad,
that's
no,
good.
my dad wasn't in the business. My dad referred me to the agency.
Oh, it just referred
So
you.
I brand new to insurance at that point in 2012. So like started from scratch, again started from scratch, somebody else, and then again started from scratch myself.
Oh,
But yeah,
wow.
and funny story is the person that I worked for at that time, respect out of that guy. He helped me so much. He didn't make it, so I basically ended up absorbing the agency, and so some of those clients I started working with back in 2015 are now in my agency, and so I have that report from multiple working with them where I was even an agent. So I'm really, really happy and really grateful to kind of have built up on that and hopefully continue to do so.
Yeah. Because imagine starting an agency without any experience, how hard that would have been.
So yeah, for sure. I have heard stories of people who are coming from other industries and they paint them a picture that sometimes is not realistic, right? They say, oh yeah, you're gonna make much money and like you should hear the stories about these people who are killing it. But then they don't know what they're getting into. And it's not just the insurance side of it, it's the business management side of things, right? Like I had employees like, they've never had to do marketing, which is one of the things that I think when I relate on people don't know who you are with you, right? And so, yeah, for people in this area who were just coming from other industries or were in insurance, but like they didn't really get it, it was definitely hard. And so I have to say, I'm very blessed to have gone through the stages that I went through to get here because it really prepared me so that day one, I knew exactly what to do.
Yep. And yeah, the content, we got to talk about that already because
Yeah,
thank you so much, first of all, for filming and editing my whole Embrace presentation. I didn't even know that that
absolutely.
was possible, and that came out really great. Just the way you edited it and the way you put subtitles on it. So, where did you learn, or how did you get started? You know, creating
Yeah.
content and being able to film and edit. That's a major skill
So
that's going to help out a lot of agents.
first of all, Dan, you did an amazing job. I told you this before this call. I think it was very genuine, and I think that that's the thing that draws me the most. People who are genuine, and your speech wasn't just bragging, and it wasn't bragging about how difficult things were either. It was just you telling your story, and then people can relate to that because to certain extents or different situations, people relate to. It's not easy. It's not always going to be perfect and peachy and roses or whatever they say. Uh, I wanted to say that as far as the video, so funny enough, it started through insurance. I started doing content for my business. I was doing, again, people don't know who you are, they won't work with you. So day one, I started doing like, hey, I'm Cesar, I do insurance. Like, let me know if I can help you with anything. It progressed, from me doing little posts. I had that one in graphic design, which obviously helped. But then it started with like little Photoshop posts and like, just kind of saying, oh, life and then progressed into doing more video content. And I started getting really into it as I did my marketing, and I started doing videos that I was obsessed with how it looked. I wanted to look professional. I wanted to look cinematic. So I started looking into lighting. I started looking into equipment. Like, how does this person's video look so good, right? And that just kind of self-teach a lot of these things. Like I have to say, I'm like proud of that. I'm self-taught in that sense too, because I'm not claiming that I'm really good at it, but going through YouTube and like learning how to use this program or how to adjust things so it looks a little better. That has been something that has helped me grow really quickly. And so I started working with Gabriela Reina, a super nice agent. I'm sure everybody who's watching knows her. She's the organizer and the founder of Embrace, now along with Richard Chasm. They're both doing an amazing job with the conference, by the way. This is how you and I connected. I was very happy to meet Gabriela because she just kind of she took me away. She invited me to be a part of Embrace speaker in 2021 when it was virtual. So I was a speaker my first year. And then after that, it became, I was part of the committee, right? So for 2022, I was part of the committee. And so, I went to San Diego, which was a very exciting but terrifying experience for me. I think I have this kind of stage fright. And I had to get up to, not even present, I had to get up to introduce somebody. And I was just freaking out, man. I was like, saying like I need to practice on my public speaking and all these things. So that's where again where video came into play, because I was recording myself a lot, doing video stuff will be in business, and it just kind of became easier as I did more things and I started having people like doing interviews, kind of like what we're doing right now. That definitely helped me. And then overall, just marketing became like my priority, right? And again, I have to give you credit because a lot of your videos, you're saying like marketing is like 1,000%, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go hard with the Google ads, with ads. And like I started and I started seeing people saying, I saw your video and that's how I found you, and so happy to see that. So I just progressively got more interested, and I would say a little better at doing the content. And so now I try to be very active with all my social media pages and YouTube and all of that. And then it just, again, the Embrace opportunity was amazing because my third and fourth year, Gabriela said, like, come conference. I was kind of like as a hobby before, and she said, maybe I have in there. And I give her a lot of gratitude and a lot of credit for kind of giving me that little push. And I said, hey, maybe this is something, like it's not just for my business. I could potentially help other people. And then I made it into like an actual side business, Seacut Design LLC, registered back in September. So still very much a baby business, but, I'm super excited about it. I'm primarily an insurance agent, but, I'm able to meet other businesses because of and it's a cycle, right? Like the beauty about insurance is that it could touch on any industry at any point in any place. And if you're doing something like content creation and you all of a sudden start working with a business who needs content creation, you could not only help them in that. By the way, I'm an insurance agent. How's your insurance? Yeah, again, I think it's just been very awesome to see how quickly and how smoothly the whole process has been, where this business has been a hobby that became a passion that is possibly a money earning machine. We'll see. So again, thankfully, I met you and great agents in Embrace and other places that I've started to work with. And again, the video with you was a pleasure to work with because the content was just so good, and that makes me passionate. And so I want to do justice to showing what it was like to be in that audience when you made your speech. So I'm really happy that worked out.
Yeah, me too. No, thank you so much. That was a really well-made video, and it's crazy how your journey just started from just something so simple to where it is now.
You never know.
You're telling me how you have drones now and all this equipment, and how you had to figure out the audio, and you know how you work subtitles. There's so much to it. And I've seen a lot of people work with video and content because we all have phones and we can edit things there, but it's just a different level of skill, I believe, when it comes to making things. And yeah, you definitely have the skill there. So that's really interesting
Appreciate it.
to offer business owners, because you're right. I believe every business owner needs content because, like you said, if nobody knows you, then no one can buy from you. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, every business owner needs insurance too.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think that's what you're thinking about, having your company kind of evolve into? Or do you think, same time, I feel like agents also need help, your service
Absolutely.
too.
Absolutely. So there's many different avenues this could go. Again, I'm very happy that just a few months into this being an actual business, I've worked with many people from weddings to nonprofits where they have special projects that are, very involved with, government, officials and things like that, where I get to capture that initiative and like, showcase it to the right people so that they could invest in it. And agents, right? Again, Embrace for me has been a blessing because I've met people who have amazing stories, right? And I think that, again, my official title would be videographer, but I like to think more of a, like a not a filmmaker, but kind of like a, I relate your story into film. I make it into a memory, right? Or I make it into something that like captures that feel of the essence of what you're trying to say, right? So this could become a thing where I could help agencies, right? I think I've talked to some of the people at Embrace, and I think I mentioned it to you. I've had these ideas of like, there are people that I've met all across the country that don't really think about these things, but they're so wowed when they see somebody else's content, right? And just to make it accessible and also to make it, not just like a standard video for everybody, but like I'm an insurance agent, so I know what works and I know what doesn't work as far as video or content for you, right? So if I could talk to agencies across the country, I mean, I love to travel, so I don't mind going all around, but I could really make something that showcases you, not just insurance, like your personality, what you're into. Somebody in Texas might be completely different than somebody in California, obviously, same as in Connecticut, where we are. So I think that there's a lot to work with there. And I think that because I see that potential of like telling your story, I get excited and I get all geeky about it. And I'm really pumped to work with people. I don't know what the future might bring, but I'm really excited for it regardless.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a great idea. Every agent
Yeah.
is so different, and I think the content, especially if it's telling a story, and also
Yeah.
just the quality too, because if you think about it, just like 10 years ago or just a little bit longer, like we couldn't make a video that would just look just as good as any commercial on TV, you
Yeah.
know? And to be able to showcase and not use just like any commercial that you could find online, but you, the actual agency owner with your staff at your office telling your story. I think that's what is the first step of a business is to get people to know
Mhm.
you, and what better way and be transparent than video.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't I can't think of anything better these days. And everybody's on their phone all the time.
Right.
You know, they're not going to the yellow pages. They're just going to the phone, and you could literally target, hey, I want to talk to these people in these area that speak this language or this age group, whatever group you want to target, and you can get in front of them through ads
Hmm.
by creating content and not even doing ads, but just, organically and just showing your friends and people that follow you what you do. There's so many different ways your skills could help an agency that I feel like, and then again, you also having the perspective of being an agent too. What about marketing
Right.
for yourself? Like what kind of stuff have you done for your own agency that has helped?
Well, again, video is everything now. Not only because, like you said, different platforms all revolve around video, but because it's the content that relates who you are the most, right? I always say there's so many different ways to be successful in this business. Insurance is beautiful because you don't have to do it one way. You can do it this way, you can do it that way, you can do it that way, right? Again, I worked under somebody who did not talk to clients. Like he was just in his office. He's like, I'm not here 24/7. Somehow he was successful, right? And it showed me you don't always have to go the customer service way. You don't always have to go the hard sale way where you're just bombarding people, like calling them 15 times a day or something like that. But if that's you, and that works for you, that's fine. Like you don't have to change yourself or who you are to be successful in this business. So I think that catering to the specific person and the specific client in this case really showcases who they are. And that genuineness is everything. Like 2024, you might have seen this. Everybody's, like you said, everybody's on their phone, but everybody's sick of marketing because everybody's like, oh my God, I know, like I've seen this ad 1,000 times, right? Because it didn't speak to them, because it didn't seem genuine. And that's why some companies kind of became people. Like it's weird that they're trying to humanize companies and they have opinions and they have all this stuff, which I personally think is like, all right, like people should be able to see through that. I don't know if they do or not. But us, we're people. Like the thing about insurance and specifically farmers insurance agencies is that we are run by real people. right? Unlike many other competitors. And that's a huge, huge strength that I feel like, unfortunately, Farmers hasn't been able to showcase in the right way of saying, like, look, we're not Geico. You're not calling a 1-800 number. You're calling an agency that they're going to pick up on the spot, right? Hopefully. But it's something that I feel like if you could show that person, right? Again, I'm thinking like, in Texas, somebody who's really involved with their community, really involved with their church or with the football team in the town or city where they're at, or they just have a passion for bicycling, whatever it is. Like we all have our thing that makes us us, but it also makes us be able to cater to other people like us. And I think that showing that is way more important than having a template that you copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. I think that that's the worst thing about marketing nowadays. Every company thinks that, just the more marketing is the better. Is not necessarily the more marketing is the better. It's the more it connects with people is the better. And I think that video for me has been the thing that I'm like, I'm doing my insurance tips and we do really cool things. Like we do podcasts talking about life insurance and murder because we're trying to sell life insurance, but we're not trying to be like, in your face about buy life insurance. We're kind of saying, look, this happens, right? And I'm not telling you to do it, but appreciate that people are willing to kill for life insurance. You should think about why you don't have life insurance. And we've been able to really think outside the box. I think that that's one of the things I love about insurance and about my agencies, that I'm able to use my creativity again through video. I've done really cool things. Like I have this really awesome LED transparent LED screen in my window. I'm in a really nice populated area, and so I got this from China, and I got like it's transparent, so from inside you basically don't see it, but from outside it's like a totally normal LED screen. And then I started creating ads, and I started kind of doing content for that, and using my drone to do really cool shots. So it's me, right? Like that's my version, and that doesn't mean that somebody else has to copy me. That means that they could find what makes them passionate, translate it into insurance in one way or another, and be successful. And that's the beauty.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think when it comes to content creation, sometimes we feel like insurance is boring, but it has a lot of side of it where you can be very creative.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're yourself, you're not trying to copy somebody, but when you're yourself, I think that's what people really resonate with too.
Exactly.
So that's a good point there is, and it's not really salesy too, just putting yourself out there. Hey, we're
Right.
just professional insurance agent. You just, and then if you think about it as a business, we are the product. Like, there's nothing else that, you know, that we could show off besides
Mm-hmm.
us. There's no
Mm-hmm.
like, product, like it's not like a baseball or like some, pen or something that it's like, hey, if you pay me, then you get this. It's kind of like
Right.
the only product they have is the agent's communication.
Right.
So we have to display it in a way. And I think that's really good advice there is to just be yourself and let
Mm-hmm.
people put it out there.
And we all have hobbies. Like I love your sneaker collection of giving you plenty of praise. But that's something that somebody who's just there for a quote, or somebody who you're doing, I don't know, a business meeting with, might be like, "Whoa, I really like those Jordans in your wall." Like, and now we have something in common, and that is going to go such a long way versus us just giving an elevator speech every time. Elevator speeches, I hate elevator speeches because it doesn't actually portray who you are. It's just like, okay, this is what I've been told I have to do, A, B, C, D, right? And that's not who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And people just like to buy from people they know. They
Right.
just don't want to do business with anyone that they don't know. And I think video is a great way. Like you're in Connecticut, I'm in, California, and it's like we got to know each other through video too. So
Yeah.
I think it's just a great way to connect with people. And yeah, I think that skill is something that I don't know. I'm thinking have a business for insurance agents.
Maybe. Maybe. Stay tuned.
Yeah, well, the business owner angle is great too. Another thing I was thinking about is having a podcast and inviting
Yeah.
business owners to be on your podcast.
I've done that.
Like,
I've done that.
yeah,
Yeah, and people love it. I have something called Strong Business Strong CT. I started in the time of the pandemic because obviously a lot of businesses were struggling, and I was pretty kind of into it. And I said, okay, well, I insurance is fine. Thankfully, I have to say we're very lucky that insurance is recession proof or pandemic proof in this case. But there were businesses that were really struggling, right? And so they were trying to do promotions, they were trying to get the word out there, and it was really hard for them. So I started, again, what you said, like saying, hey, just do a video with me. It's all through Zoom. We just kind of talk about your business. I don't even care about publicity for myself at this point. I'm just trying to showcase you as a business, right? And then people really appreciated that. And it grew into kind of like, again, it's funny because it's like it keeps morphing, right? So it started like that, and then it became other things, and now events, and then the podcast that I also do, like, it's nothing like set on stone that like, okay, that's it, period. It's like it's always changing, and I love that. I love that I'm not tied down to any like specific walls that I have to stay in. So, but hey, I'm really curious. Like, you've been doing this for a while, and I do give you a lot of credit because consistency is the hardest thing when promoting yourself, right? But you've been very consistent with your lead agent talks, and then your content I see in your page about your team, and that again just not only for yourself as a business owner, but a co-agent, like people, other agents, including myself, we look up to you because we're like, wow, this guy is really consistent and he's doing what he has to do. And he doesn't complain, he just keeps doing it. And then obviously it's been paying off. I'm really curious to see or to hear what's your story, man. Like, what made you want to start this? What has been your kind of ups and downs while doing these podcasts and these talks?
Yeah. Well, I think wow, the way it started is I just want to learn from other agents, and I also want to help other agents too, because sometimes, for a while, I'll have a lot of agents asking me questions, and it was kind of like the same thing. So I was like, well, if I had a video and then I could just show them the video, then it'll save me a little time. So I was
Mm,
thinking that too. But yeah, I just wanted to just talk to other agents. Other agents want to talk to me. We just want to have chat, and sometimes we would have really great conversations of how we run businesses. And I thought, hey, maybe this would be good for other agents to be able to listen in on. And a lot of times it is really because I'm just interested in learning about them. Like I'm interested
mm,
in how you look at content creation. So I just get to talk to people that I really like want to talk to. And I've learned a lot myself. So that's really one of the benefits. And I also want to help out other agents too.
mm,
I think the key to consistency also is I kind of just so you as a videographer, I think that's great service because I actually have been working with a videographer for all these years. So I pay him a monthly
retainer.
retainer,
Hmm.
right? So if I'm paying him, then I have to like make something. So that's kind of like the key of consistency is commit financially. So if you're paying somebody a certain amount, then it's like, well, I got to make content now because I don't want to just pay somebody for
Right.
nothing. But I look at that as a way of giving back. I don't have a course or I don't sell anything or anything like that.
Right.
But and I also have him do the real reason I pay for him, the real benefit I get, because this is more for giving back to agents, is content from my agency.
Mm,
So content from my agency, he comes twice a month, and then he comes here, takes videos, takes, pictures and things like that, put it on social, and that's, marketing. I almost look at it like the new telemarketer.
yeah.
Instead of like hiring a telemarketer, making cold calls, which
Yeah.
at least for personal lines, and I've never really made it work. So it's like instead of that type of marketing, like a new school marketer is like the videographer and the social media
Hey.
creator. That's how I look at it. So, but he has spare time. So during the spare time, then I'll just make content for myself. And why not learn from other agents and share it?
Mm,
And I get some gratitude because when I go to Embrace and stuff like that, I don't really understood how much people appreciate it. I mean,
yeah.
people will like, view it or maybe like it and stuff like that, but you don't get the full picture of it when agents come up to me and say, hey, those talks have really helped. So that really motivates me to make more too.
Hmm. Yeah. I think when I started watching your videos, I was also looking for a little like, okay, I tried this, it's not working. I tried that, it's not working. Like what? Like, let me find out from people who've been doing this for longer than me, right? I found your videos. I really loved that it was you and another agent just talking, like you said. It wasn't you, saying the right things for the company. It wasn't you like giving out the corporate speech, which we hear, a lot everywhere. But it was you guys saying like, hey, listen, this worked and you should try this. And then next video, I would see that you talked about how it worked, and I would be like, "Oh, that's awesome! Like that feels so genuine. That feels so like relatable." And I think that's like you said, that's the way that you've been giving back to agents for a long time. And I've actually been people who call me for advice. I'm like, "You should check this guy out. He has great videos. Like I can't even do it justice." So yeah, man. Again, congrats on the podcast. I know you've been going strong for multiple years, which is a huge accomplishment. So on top of you running a successful business, I can pat yourself in the back because this is a great project that obviously has grown really big and hopefully will keep.
Yeah, well, crazy story is you're part of it now too. So
Hey,
yeah, you're gonna be part of the series. So I'm really happy to have
yeah,
you on. Well, yeah, let's talk about how to
yeah,
really how what do you think about thinking outside the box or marketing and content? Like what do you think agents should be doing as far as how to use video to market?
yeah. So again, combination of what we just said, consistency, right? Always be in front of people's faces without being too annoying, right? Nobody likes that. But coming across genuine, and then having topics that are relevant not just to insurance but to people, like to regular people, right, who aren't thinking of what is have content that says, okay, you probably have had this question in your mind: what happens if my tree, if it falls on your house but it's the neighbor's tree, right? Like, is that under insurance, is that on my insurance? And those are the kind of questions that I keep trying to answer in my content. That is not is defined as blah 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 blah. No, it's just literally like, hey, put yourself in this situation. What would you think, right? And if this happens, did you know that this is so and so and so, right? And I think that people have really reacted well to that. So my advice to people is, again, it doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be like an essay that you're translating into video, but something as simple as like a 10-second video. Hey, do you know that your kids go away to school? You should call us and you'll save a bunch of money, right? Like that's it. And then those little interactions where people see your face and it becomes constant and they're like, hey, I'm an insurance guy, right? And then all of a sudden they can't think of anybody else. That's what people should be doing, right? It could be a big agency such as yourself. You could hire people to do, which is a privilege. Even for smaller agencies like mine or for other agencies across the country, you could do this stuff yourself, or you could, like you said, use marketers and marketing people in a different way than just call on, because it's not always going to give the best results. However, I do want to give a big like warning. That doesn't mean you're going to get calls right away. That's everything we do is that it trickles down. You see it sometimes months or years, and then somebody calls you out of the blue and they're like, yeah, so you had that video, and then you're like, what video? And it's a video that you made like 5 years ago or whatever it was. And it just shows that those little interactions, they do eventually build up and build up and build up, and people subconsciously, they start knowing you as a reliable, trustworthy person who can help them with that product. And so anybody could be doing this, right? And it doesn't have to be professionally. You don't have to have professional gear or anything like that. Like a lot of people just do it with their cell phones, right? However, and this is where I, the videographer, come in. It does matter what impression you make on people. It looks like you didn't put any effort in it. People will be able to tell, and people will be like, if this guy's not putting effort into this content that they're trying to get to me, what makes me think that they're going to put effort into actually helping me when I need the service, right? So it's a balance between, make it look like you care. It doesn't have to be perfect, but make it look like you care and make it relatable. So those are the things that I feel are the most important. 2024 marketing is so different. Even I'm to figure it out. So yeah,
Wow. Man, you said a lot of good stuff right there that I agree on. I think that's a great way
yeah,
to look at it too. It's not like, hey, call me to get a quote. Like, hey, let me like quote you. Like, it's not sales. It's more building brand and building trust. So it's
exactly.
not something that's going to have immediate impact, but it's going to be creating your brand. And what's important is consistency because I think with insurance, people don't want to talk about it when you want to talk about it. They want to talk about it
Mm-hmm.
when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time when they actually need it or is thinking about it, then you want to be top of mind. And that's all that effort of creativity of just showing up every day and putting something out there is
Mm-hmm.
what gets rewarded. So I think that's great because maybe a lot of agents do give up pretty easily because they start making content and nothing happens for a while, but just keeping it going and that's why I think liking it helps too, because even if nothing is happening, you still keep doing it, and that's what gets you better. And I believe when you are making organic content with your phone,
Mm-hmm.
just keep making it, and then that's like practice to me. And you start finding out like, oh, this is what people like to hear. And once you have um, like a style, and you got better at being in front of the camera, and you have like some certain words that you figure people really like, and you have
Hmm.
a good piece of content you feel like you can make, I think that's when it's time to get a professional and then actually have something more planned out and then really make a really good one. Instead of just
Hmm.
getting a professional right away, maybe just get in the habit of just showing up and just practicing. And once you get to that point, then hire a professional and then running ads. So I think there's different levels to it. So I
I
think
agree
it's
with that, but then it could take a person who's never even thought about marketing and script, which they're good at. And that's why as a videographer, I have like teleprompters and things that I can just read this. Just
Mhm.
make it sound like you're not reading. And that's it. And that becomes so like professional. It becomes so like the quality gets elevated instead of you stumbling across, trying to think of
Yeah.
things to say. So yeah, you're right. Don't jump before you could walk. But at the same time, don't think that because you're not good at this, you can't do it. You could do it
Right.
day one. If you have somebody like again a professional, they have ways to help you loosen up. They have ways to tell you, okay, you don't feel comfortable with this side of thing. How about if we do this thing, and that will make it easier. And all of a sudden, they're naturals. They just needed that little push. So
Yeah.
absolutely, I mean, everybody could do it, but yeah, obviously don't go hiring a production company when you don't even have an office.
Yeah. No, that's true though. I think maybe in a way, a good videographer is almost like a coach too.
It could be. Yeah. Again,
You know?
we're not going to tell you what to do because that's not our job, but we can tell you, okay, you want to accomplish this. Here are the things that we could do to make it look good, but still be true, not fake, not you putting up an act, right? And I think that that's, at least for my style, that's very important.
I like that style. It's almost like a coach in a way that like not a maybe not a coach, but someone to like talk about the vision, and then
Hmm.
you kind of like
Yeah,
help them get their vision together. Like,
exactly.
you're listening to them and like, okay, how do you want it? And really brainstorming together on. So I do believe having a good videographer as someone that you like working with is
Mhm.
super important. And
Yeah.
I really recommend agents looking into one if they don't have one, and if they don't have one, then they gotta give you a call right now.
Yeah, and there are levels. I mean, like I said, there's so much potential with both insurance, but also with videography and video content creation. Because as a video content creation, you could be working for a small agency, again, doing a traditional 10-second, 30-second, 1 minute ad, where it's just like, oh, we do insurance, and then they wave to the camera and the drone pans out, right? That's fine. But you could also be talking to a big agent like yourself, right? I was happy to get experience because I was like, okay, this is what it could be like to work with who just has so much to say, who's so relevant in the world that they're working, that you could just be their personal videographer, following them around, seeing those interactions, capturing that essence, and then showcasing how good at what you do you are, right? So if you're a Kitajima, if you're a CEO of a company and you don't see the potential of that, you might be missing out because you're not seeing how it's not making you popular, it's making you famous, but it is making you be able to showcase that to the world. That could be very important.
I think so. And people just appreciate transparency and
Right.
authenticity,
Right.
so I think
I
that's great.
really enjoyed the CEO of Enterprise. She was so
Mhm.
nice. Like I know that she was at an event where it's a corporate thing, so obviously she's not going to be like yelling and screaming or whatever. But she was just so genuinely nice, and I love being able to capture that when I was just recording them, right? And she was making jokes, and she was saying, no, 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 get my team in here. I want to take a video with my team, and that's the kind of stuff that now I like Enterprise better because of her, because of that interaction I had with her, which I was able to capture in video, and then potentially we'll be getting that out to other people too.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's great to be able to show personality and not be
Hmm.
scripted and just, you know, have a presentation that's, just something that was pre-planned too much. So yeah,
Right.
I think video just does a
You could
great
tell.
job.
You could tell.
What
Listen, people are smart. People can tell when somebody's faking it.
what platforms do you like agents should be focusing on posting content?
So I would say I'm most trading on social media. It's still the best for me. I've never been able to fully get into TikTok. I have a TikTok account, but I want to say I just kind of post the same stuff. Not really for me yet. But Facebook is still around. I mean, I'm like in between, right? Like, so Facebook is like past my years, but now TikTok is way too young for me, and I'm kind of like happy in the middle in Instagram. But I still have all three, and I still work in all three. And then YouTube has been here, and will be forever. So I think that it's a good way to really showcase your content. However, it's not really like a validation. So it's not like, oh, I'm gonna get 1,000 likes on this YouTube just because I posted on YouTube. Probably not. But you just kind of have to work on what works for you. Again, for me, Instagram is works the best business, because I'm pretty active, and not only with my content, but I love to do things like posting stories, or reposting, I should say, stories of accidents and like crazy stuff happening all over the world, which are very popular in social media, right? And people, again, we were talking about, people don't put two and two together and say, well, that's insurance. You're talking about insurance. You see a car accident in Instagram or in TikTok, that's insurance, because that person is going to have to go file a claim, and what's going to happen? And so doing things like that, I try to have interesting, engaging content, so that it's not just like, again, dwelling definition is so and so and so. It's kind of like, hey, look at that crazy thing that everybody enjoys watching. But guess what? Don't forget about flood insurance. Or like, hey, don't forget to get life insurance. And then I also, like I told you, I try to do things a little differently. I have to say the best feeling I've ever done is my puppy show. It's about to be a year old Samoyed. I'll give you a photo, so if you want to post it here, people can see how freaking cute he is. He's with us at work every single day. And so people just stop by and they're taking photos of him in the window, and they're coming inside saying, can I pet your puppy? And we've gotten quotes, and we've gotten a lot of business because of him. He's also part of all our content and our social media. Like, we have reaction emojis, like, which is us going like, oh my God, look at that accident. And we have Shoto as part of the reactions, which is really funny. People love that stuff. Again, it's just, people like puppies, people like cars, people like, crazy stuff on the internet. If you're able to tie that to what you do, which is very relevant, put it from one to the other very smoothly, very easily.
Wow, that's great advice there, and that's brilliant actually. You really have to figure out what clients or the audience kind of wants.
Mm-hmm.
We can't put out stuff that we want them to know, like, hey, insurance rates and this and that, like, give me let me quote you. Like, people don't want to see that, but people do
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
see something crazy or a cute puppy, and how you tie that in to our
Right, right.
profession.
Don't just go buy a puppy so you could exploit them.
Where everyone's gonna get the same puppy that you have.
Yeah, no, no, no. But you a puppy so much. You like it and likes it. Everybody's on the same page, and that's why it's genuine. That's why it comes across as a very genuine thing to have in your social media networks.
Yeah, well, I gotta put your handle down there so we could all follow you
Yeah, for
and
sure.
check out your work. But that's great because,
Feel free to copy me. I don't mind.
well, yeah, well, I think it's good to get inspiration, but you don't
Yeah,
want to copy because then that's not yourself. But I
yeah,
think
that's
it is
fine.
good to follow other creative people and see how they do it, and like kind of like get ideas from it, and
Hmm.
get inspired from it, and also most importantly take action, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
in your own style. But I think that's great because I think a lot of agents do struggle with what to post. I know I should be on
right,
social media. I know I should post more. Well,
right.
where do I even start? So I think that's great where you try to find something interesting for the audience to watch.
Hmm.
Because if it's all insurance related, it's not interesting at all. So something interesting and tie it into what we do, how we protect people, getting them think. So you touched on it. You do a podcast talking about people who got people
Yeah,
life insurance and
yeah.
committed murder.
And it happens, like, more than
I've heard
people
of that
think.
once, but
More
oh
than people
yeah,
think. We've done a few podcasts with my wife. She's super program, and again, this is her thing more than my thing. So it became kind of like her way to bring something into the business to have fun, but then at the same time, talk about something relevant. And so, yeah, believe it or not, there's been like a lot of people throughout history that were just using life insurance as a way to get rich. They got life insurance on X or Y person, and then boom, they killed them, and then now they're collecting, right? And it's surprisingly common, and it's surprisingly hard for them to get caught, which is kind of crazy. But that's why we have all these rules and regulations that we have nowadays when you're writing life insurance, because those things have happened enough that they've changed the whole system. And it's like, it's crazy. I mean, things like that people don't think about. We like to explore that world, and we like to see, okay, well, how did that even happen? Like, how is that possible? Because we're thinking in 2024 standards, and back in the 1890s, like that wasn't even a rule. Like, you didn't have to prove you were somebody's family. You could get a life insurance on your neighbor without their consent, and then you kill them and you get the money. So it's pretty nuts. But we always have disclaimers and everything because we don't want it to lose the meaning of what we're doing, which is try to help people, protect their loved ones, kind of thing. But yeah, it's super fun, and it's just interesting, and it's just so much fun, man. Like, it's a blast.
Yeah, I think it's important to have fun, with what we do.
Mhm.
And again, I think I said it too many times, but insurance can get boring. So it's for us
Well,
to kind
that's
of
the
like,
thing. You think it could get boring, and it could get boring if you make it boring. But if you
right.
make it relevant, it's everywhere. Like, there's TV shows based around insurance. Like, have you ever watched Fargo, the TV show, first season? You should check it out. The guy's an insurance producer, and it's hilarious to see that, like how, he goes through this up and down, and then like turns out that he became an amazing producer. And I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. But it's everywhere. It's relevant, and it can be boring if you make it boring. But that's not to say just don't forget the real reason why we're doing this. But there's ways to have fun, people. Come on.
There's a lot of ways, and especially, getting creative is fun and thinking outside the box and thinking of different marketing ideas. I think that is
Hmm.
my favorite part of the business.
Yeah.
Like, how do I connect with people? How do I make them, laugh? That's challenge, but if you can do that, that's a great skill. And how to help them out. And ultimately, it's just a business where you have to make connection with more people, and
Yeah.
video is a great way to do that. What are some up and coming ideas you think that is on your mind as far as like content that could work for insurance agents and specifically?
So one of the things that, knock on wood, will be working for me is somebody like that podcast idea so much about life insurance and crime, that a bank connection that I made recently, she loved that idea, and she's like, "Oh, can we tie that with our bank?" And now we're partnering up with them to do financial crimes, right? And
Hmm.
not the reason why I did this, but like one of the benefits of doing something like that is that they're going to be referring us all their life insurance business loan clients who are required to have a certain amount of life insurance. And so we're super, super excited about that potential, because that for us could be pretty big, right? So that's one of the things, right? Other than that, just, I don't know, man, we try to do a little bit of everything, try to stay connected with our community. In Colombia. And so I am part of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here in my city, and I try to be very involved with that. One of the, like, it's funny to say this, but we're gonna have a Pitbull party. Pitbull, the singer,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm not even like a fan. I'm not even like, oh my God, I love Pitbull. Like, he's all right. But I saw this on Instagram, and it's one of those ideas that, like, oh man, we gotta do that. So we're gonna have a party at my office. We've had a few events that have been very successful. It's, again, just fun. It's nothing like selling, a speech or whatever like that. It's just people get to know you, right? We're trying to have this Pitbull party where you bring a bold cap and a goatee, whether you're a man or a woman, like a big discount or something. And so everybody will be Pitbull. And so we're gonna have like a whole party where everybody's dressed as Pitbull. I don't know if or how it's gonna happen, but I'm really excited about the prospect of seeing a bunch of people wearing bowl caps and then having fun. And again, they're business owners, so hopefully that builds our bond, and we get, more business out of it down the line. But hey, why not try
Yeah, well, at least the music will be good.
it? No, no, I can't do that. Not playing Pitbull the whole party. No.
Well,
Um, but yeah, man, it's things like that make it exciting. But hey, I'm actually excited also picking your brain a little bit, because, like I said, my thing has become video. My thing has become more like social media oriented. But I have tried different things. I have tried marketing through mail. I tried, like billboards. I've tried, like, I don't know, a bunch of different things. Like, not podcasts, but like the Pandora ads, like that Farmers was doing a company partnership. I'm curious to hear what has worked for you other than social media, other than uh, for you as a big agent. Like, has mailers been successful for you, or?
Yeah, no, for me it hasn't. It really
Mm,
has been social media and some search ads,
mm,
Google ads, search ad, and I think I think when you find something that works, such as social media or Google,
mm,
it's we underestimate how much scalable that is. So I think in the past when I was coming up, people would say you need to have like 5 or 10 different marketing sources. And I found out that why not just have one or two that's like killing it? If
mm,
it really works, then just like put more money into that than be having all kinds of different things and you don't even know which ones where these are coming from. So I like to spend like 80% of my budget on something that's working the best and then 20% on the rest and kind of every once in a while, or all the time, you're measuring it and adjusting the budget.
mm,
So it has mostly been Google or Facebook, and those are the ways, when we do want to write business. I'm not doing too much of marketing right now, but if we do open for business, then I could put more money into it. And there's plenty of people searching for auto insurance online, and
mm.
there's plenty of people on Facebook and Instagram and other, social media channels. So I think I just kind of also want to think, where is marketing going towards too? Like people gonna be checking their mails more often?
Mhm.
Probably less often. People don't like going through their mail as much as 10 years ago, or are people answering phone calls as much as 10 years ago? So I try to look at the trend, and I'd rather go towards what's coming than what used to work in the past. So yeah, I've kind of been really just in general, email marketing, things like that. So in general, just digital marketing, I think
Okay.
is what I prefer.
Gotcha. So as
But
far as
there's
that, as far as
agents out there
Google,
that kill it with you know, mailing and stuff like that. So I think to your point too, every agency owner is different, and there's other agents that do cold calling and stuff like that, with VAs, and they do really well there. So I'm not saying my way is the way that everybody should do it, but like you said, everybody has their personality and their style, and I think the marketing method that fits their style is better. I think in general, I'm not that much of a extrovert. So it's very difficult for me to go to like a chamber of commerce and shake people's hands and stuff like that. It's a little bit easier for me to just put a video out there and have other people see it. It's a little bit easier for me that way. So I think there's no right or wrong way to do it. You just kind of have to figure out what fits your style the best and then really kind of play to your strengths.
yeah. So as far as Google and Facebook, like, do you find that one works better for a specific product? For example, this as well focus more on life and commercial, where all our marketing from when we started was home auto, home auto, home auto. And now we have to shift that whole thing to, okay, we do commercial and life first. And that shift in the marketing, especially in Google ads and, again, some content that we have slower than I hoped. So do you have any tips for myself and other people who might be watching this to give us tips on like how in a more smooth way?
Yeah, well, my strategy has always been just lead with personal lines because everybody needs it and cross-sell the life. So I've tried so many different ways to just directly make a video or for life insurance or try to get life insurance ads on Google's and stuff like that. But I think it was just too competitive.
Mm,
And I never really had a successful campaign leading with life.
mm,
But with life insurance, because once you have the personal line, there's so much more trust established during that transaction of getting the auto or the home. That's so much easier to sell the life afterwards. So I've always liked to just cross sell my life after we have them as clients or at the time we set them up with the auto. For the commercial, kind of the same thing for me too. So I wish I had a better answer for you, Caesar. Like, hey, this is what you could do to get more commercial leads and life leads.
yeah.
But that's why for me, when the personal line is good, you just want to write as much as possible because that book of business you could cross sell later when the personal lines is not good. When the people say, "Hey,
Mm,
why did my rates go up?" It's like, "Hey," and you give them a good explanation. It's like, "Hey, who do you have your life insurance with?" So it's like kind of like at that point when things aren't good. Last year we were able to cross sell a lot of our existing book of business, life and commercial. But leading with that, there's
yeah, it's
telemark.
hard.
I think with commercial, there's telemarketers who could do that. I like that podcast idea, but I wish I had a better answer for you. But I am kind of like my agency has been make content because personal lines is awesome is literally everybody's potential client because everybody has a
Mhm.
car. So you get to go really broad and you can
Gotcha.
have more volume.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, how about again, you've been around for a while, right? I think I've heard you say 2007, 2008, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Right. So, you know, big good business to cross sell to, right? So that has helped you. But for people who are just starting out, like, or people who are newer, like myself, like, do you have any tips of like, man, I wish I had done that differently, had done that and not?
Yeah, I think I wish I would have started earlier. I think
Okay.
I was very shy, and I just had an intuition that everybody's gonna be on their social media all the time and making videos
Mhm.
is like so easy to make videos. And I knew I should make videos and know I should have posted more and I still feel like I should do more, but I just didn't.
Mhm.
And I was just too shy. Now I thought everybody would think a certain way, but nobody really cared. You know, I think that's one thing people think about too much is other people care, so you worry too much, but no one really cares that much about what you're doing.
Mhm.
Point that they're just worried about themselves. So, and in general, people are, I guess I haven't gotten to that point, and I've gotten a little bit of hate, but I think we're overthinking it if you think everyone's not gonna like you for being out there. In
Yeah.
general, I have gone made some lifelong friends from putting out content. Like you said, that bank thing where now you're gonna get life leads from the bank. It's so crazy how I just made a content for really no plan. Like I just didn't have like a plan, and maybe I should, but I just started making content and so much good things has happened. So I really wish I would have done it sooner. And then there has been times in my career where I felt like I could have done more, like maybe had like a really hot campaign because every campaign
Yeah.
goes down up and then eventually it goes down because it gets old. But during that time, I feel like I could have invested more money, but
Mhm.
I didn't like take advantage enough at that time because at that point I didn't know how good it was.
Gotcha.
So I think yeah, just I would have done more and I would have invested more when it was good. So to the new agents, I would just say, hey, just one post a day. Just have a goal of just trying to come up with something,
Mhm.
posting it. And I do like that idea of working with somebody like
Mhm.
that you're committing to on a monthly basis. So you're forced to make something. I do like that
Mhm.
idea too. I think that has worked out for me.
Nice, nice. And how about I know this is maybe a controversial topic, but how about the role of farmers in our marketing? Because I think we have like a good brand. I wish they did more, man. I wish they did more of the local stuff, like the showcase the agencies, not just the same commercial over and over, you know?
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it is the agency's job is to market. That's the way I look at it. Luckily, the brand has a good reputation, but we're not even able to use the brand when we make videos, which is kind of difficult too. I wish we could
Right.
easily say online that we're farmers. So that's something that I wish we were able to. So it's really hard, but that's just the rules that we have. So
Hmm.
I don't really want to rely on farmers doing the marketing for us.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I look at it as that's our responsibility. We have to market our independent agency because, they have a budget for that. But
Hmm.
in general, I think what's great about farmers is that there's a good reputation though, taking care of claims
Oh, absolutely. We have
and being
such a
around.
good brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So once they know that you're farmers, that's such an advantage. So we kind of make videos of we don't say we're farmers, but we wear like farmers polo shirts. So um things like that has worked. But yeah, just letting them know where your office is, things like that.
Mm.
But it does have to be your own post and yourself and your agency and your office because just putting something that's just like a hearsay post and things like that, people don't really want to see that kind of stuff. They just want to
Yeah.
see like a real
Yeah.
person with like a real, that's more of a
With a
organic
face.
with a face. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but I think potential to again, for example, I say Connecticut, we're a small state. I'm happy, again, giving a lot of props to Gabriela Reina, who got me involved in Embrace and the conference of Embrace. I've had the chance to talk to people who I probably would have never talked to in my life, who are the people making the decisions. And I hope that, in years to come, I conversation I could, like, hey, what if we did some of, and it could help everybody, right? Like, again, I'm in a small state, Connecticut. There's opportunities for us to partner with other agencies, promote the brand, but then farmers could also kind of jump in and help us do something like that. So yeah, I think there's so much potential for that, because one thing I have to say I love about farmers is how like tight knit we are with each other. Every agent and every agency owner seems to be on the same page about, like, we're all here to succeed and we're not here to kind of step on each other. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities for farmers to help us do that with each other, because there's definitely potential to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's a great idea. And, you know, working with Gabriella is the power there of,
Hey,
it's not that easy to be able to talk to,
right.
the right people and give them ideas. So maybe you're onto something there. You're thinking big there. So I like how you're
We'll
thinking
see.
and,
We'll see.
making something happen that will help not just, certain agencies, but the whole organization. Because
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
believe in the same thing as you do, is that, hey, as a brand, we could market it in a certain way and really help out the company.
Yeah, yeah. But I do think what you said is very important. Like, you are farmers, but you are your agency at the same time. So, like, having a brand for your agency, I think that that's probably one of the things that I've noticed that most people not doing. That they're surprised when they're not getting a lot of results, when they're not really beyond the hearsay posts that are automated, right? Like, that's not really gonna convince people that you're a great person to work with, right? So yeah, I think that having a brand, and I think I actually got the idea from you, of like your own logo and stuff. Like, I have the farmers, but I have another logo that I created for just my agency, so that we are compliant at all times and all that. But yeah, I think farmers, again, there's potential there. Make it into a competition, see who has the best logo or something.
Yeah, yeah, no, I do feel like, sometimes we could expect the company or want the company to do things, but hey, I think that's kind of what we signed
Mhm.
up for, is we're
Yeah.
independent business owner, and we have to figure out ways to get in front of people ourselves. But you're right, Farmer's Family is a very strong one, so I think it's great
Mhm.
that us agents, and that's why I want you to be on this, have you on today, so you could talk about your marketing ideas and maybe even having some agents reach out to you, and like you said, you don't
Yeah,
mind traveling, so that's
I
a
am
huge step.
happy. I am
That's just,
happy to talk to anyone on the phone, in person, whatever it is. I am based in Connecticut, but I love traveling, so I go anywhere, literally anywhere. So reach out to me for sure.
yeah, and I really enjoyed working with you as far as the video is concerned. I had, hey, small edit, request, and you were like, no problem. Just had like great attitude about just sharing the video and making it and collaborating and tweaking a few things. I wanted to make sure that it was
I
very
like
clear that
that.
you
I
filmed and
like that you
edited.
know what you want.
Oh yeah,
I don't have to
yeah.
guess. Yeah, because
All
some
right.
people, they're just like, oh, I don't know. Can you, like, I don't know, change something? What do you want me to do?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good videographer too. Yeah, I would think so too. It would be hard for someone to came up to you and say, "Hey, come up with something." It's like, oh
Yeah, and
wow,
we
it's like a lot of
can,
work.
we can, but it's
Uh-huh.
just better if you know what you want, so I don't have to guess what you want, kind of thing, right? So that's why when you
Right.
told me, like, hey, do you mind doing this? I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, that's awesome. You gave me like timestamps and everything. That's like amazing, because I know exactly what you want.
Oh
But
man, yeah.
yeah, again, there's different jobs, and then there's jobs that get to work with people that I have a lot of respect for. So I'm really grateful for that, for sure.
Yeah, well, I think this is just the beginning for you, my friend. So I'm
Hey,
really looking forward to keeping in touch with you, seeing what you're up to, see what you create next.
yeah,
So hopefully we'll be working together again in some way. I'm pretty sure we will, because your skill
yeah,
is something that's really valuable for the company. So I'm really glad that you were on and you were able to share your story. And any agents that want to reach out, I highly recommend to reach out to you, Caesar, and just a great guy to just talk to and chat with and share ideas with too. So really glad to get to know you. Thanks again so much for making that presentation happen. I didn't even know it was recording, and I just feel like I just want to do something to help you out and other agents out, because it's something I really
thank you.
believe in. Create content, promote your agency, and do it by video. So thanks again, Cesar, for being on.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Dan.
yeah. Anything else you want to share at the end, or
Yeah, well, again, I
tied you?
just thank you. Thank you for having me here. Super awesome to be here after all these years watching you. For people, like I said, I'm really happy, like genuinely happy to talk to people. I obviously get excited about these things because this is what I'm passionate about. So if you have questions, little, small, give me. I don't know if you put my contact info below. If not, my phone number here at the office is 203-803-2153. But yeah, I'm happy to help anybody in any way I can. I do videography and I do insurance. I kind of get what you're looking for and I kind of get what you need because I'm literally in your shoes right now. So anything as far as a short video to showcase your office, your employees, your area, what you're passionate about. It could be a very personalized video that I could do for you. There's nothing set in stone about like, what the future will bring, but I have maybe some plans of working with multiple agencies at the time and maybe embrace, excuse me, where I could do kind of like a road to embrace thing, and maybe we could stop by different locations and showcase the real people, the heart and the soul of farmers, and showcase what makes us all unique and amazing, and really the right company to work with, Farmers Insurance and the specific agencies that Farmers Insurance has. So again, I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you, Dan, and I will hopefully talk to some of you soon.
All right, great. Thank you, Cesar. Yeah, we'll definitely put your contact information on the description. But yeah, that's a great idea. That's something to pitch to
Right?
Gabriela in advance. So yeah, really
She
promote
loved your
the
video too, by the way. I just spoke to her. She loved your video. So I'm really happy. Everybody loved your video. Everybody was like so impressed with your speech, man. Good job.
no, thank you. Yeah. No, but yeah, the Embrace conference is something that we have in connection. So we'll try our
Hmm.
best to support that too.
Yeah.
So looking forward to yeah, keep working with you, Cesar.
Oh,
Thanks you so much for being on.
last plug, Embrace, guys. If you missed it, 2024 was amazing. Like, I'm not even like part of the committee or anything anymore, but as somebody who has been involved in that over the years, it's grown so much, and it's like the only conference, as far as I'm aware, that you could go to without having to hit certain goals or certain measurements. And the information that we've been getting at these conferences, especially this last year, 2024 in Las Vegas, I was blown away because there were things that maybe had to be worked on the previous year. They and this was amazing. So again, 2025, I guess, Las Vegas, possibly, definitely it's like a conference, and I'll be there with my camera bothering everybody. So you'll see me there.
Yeah, everybody definitely say hi to me and to him. But
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
was we learned a lot and the energy was so great. The location was just top notch and it
right.
was we learned a lot, but we also had a lot of fun too. So that's also important too.
All right, 2025.
All right, we'll see you everybody there. Thank you, Caesar. I'll catch you later. See ya.